All right, do me a quick favor. Lay your hand flat on the table right now. Seriously, if you can, find some good light, maybe by a window or right under a lamp, and just take a really good look at your nails. I mean, look at them like you normally never do, right? Notice the color of the nail bed underneath. Look at the shape from the side. Check out the tiny lines running across them. You know, most of us go through our entire lives barely even glancing at our hands. Yet month after month, our nails are slowly growing, silently writing this incredible biological diary of exactly what's happening inside our bodies. Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to learn exactly how to read that diary. So, what exactly are your nails trying to communicate? Well, before we get into the fascinating physiological reactions, we've got to establish one absolutely crucial rule. A nail offers clues and whispers, right? Not an official medical diagnosis. Basically, your nails are just little plates of a super tough protein called keratin, and they're produced by this biological factory hidden just under your cuticles called the nail matrix. Now, because this factory relies on a constant, steady supply of blood, oxygen, and nutrients to build those cells, well, changes in your systemic health can totally alter how the nail is constructed. Some things you see mean absolutely nothing, while a few specific anomalies definitely deserve a doctor's attention. Our goal today is to help you spot the difference. To make sure we don't just panic at every little spot, we'll follow a super clear structure today. 1. The diary of your nails. 2. Harmless signs and myths. 3. Signals from within. 4. When help is truly needed. And 5. Protection and daily care. Okay, section 1. Harmless signs and common myths. Let's dive right into this. We're starting with the green light signs, the things almost everyone has and that almost never mean anything is wrong. Let's look at those really common vertical ridges. You might notice fine little ridges running lengthwise, right from your cuticle to the tip of your nail. A lot of folks completely panic when they see this, assuming it means some wild mineral imbalance or a missing vitamin in their diet. But biologically speaking, this is literally just a natural sign of aging. Think of it kind of like tree bark. The bark of a young tree is perfectly smooth, right? But as the tree ages, the bark naturally gets ridged and grooved. Your nail matrix, that keratin factory we talked about, it simply gets a little less uniform in its production as the decades pass. It's absolutely not a disease, it's just time doing its thing. You honestly don't need to do a single thing about it. And you know, this perfectly illustrates one of the biggest health myths out there. How many times have you been told that tiny white spots on your nails mean you have a calcium or zinc deficiency? Yeah, that is almost completely false. The biological reality here is that these white spots, known scientifically as leukonychia, are simply old, forgotten physical traumas. Weeks ago, you probably just bumped or pinched your nail down at the cuticle while it was still forming. That tiny microtrauma disrupted the keratinization process and essentially trapped a microscopic pocket of air. Because nails grow so incredibly slowly, by the time that damaged spot grows out to where you can finally see it, the original bump is long forgotten. So yeah, it's totally harmless. You can definitely save your money on those extra vitamin pills. All right, section 2, signals from within. Let's shift gears into our yellow light category. These are the internal whispers from your organs that actually do warrant a quick check-in with your doctor. We need to look a bit closer here, starting with the actual physical shape of the keratin plate itself. Take a look at your nails from a side profile. Are they slightly convex, like a gentle dome as they normally should be? Or have they become slightly hollow, almost spoon-shaped, like they could literally hold a tiny drop of water? This is a biological anomaly called koilonychia, and it has a direct step-by-step connection to a severe iron deficiency. See, iron is a critical building block for hemoglobin, which is the protein in your red blood cells that carries oxygen everywhere. When you lack iron, not only do you feel super fatigued and out of breath, but the actual blood flow to your nail matrix is compromised. This alters the structural integrity of the nail plate so much that it essentially just collapses under normal mechanical pressure. It's a really fascinating, albeit silent clue. Now, I actually want you to do this one with me. Look at the color under your nail. It tells an amazing story about your fluid filters and your cardiovascular system. Press down firmly on one of your fingernails right now until the tissue underneath turns totally white, okay? Now, let go. That healthy pink color should flood back in about 2 seconds flat. That's the capillary refill test. Since your nail plate is translucent, it acts like a literal window directly into your vascular system. If your nail beds persistently look pale and white, even when you're just resting, it can indicate anemia. Basically, a lack of healthy red blood cells circulating through those tiny capillaries to give it that natural pink flush. Now, this next physiological reaction is one you absolutely must know about, even if it's way less common. It's called clubbing. This is what happens when the fingertips gradually become noticeably wider and rounder, and the nails curve dramatically over them. It almost erases the natural angle where the nail meets the cuticle. Biologically, what's happening here is that your heart or lungs are struggling. They're pumping slightly too little oxygen through your body over a period of years. In response to this chronic low oxygen, or hypoxia, the blood vessels in your extremities actually dilate. They draw in extra fluid and tissue, which forces the fingertips to bulge out. And because it happens so gradually over such a long time, it is incredibly easy to miss. If you ever see this developing, definitely have your doctor listen to your heart and lungs. You might also notice tiny little dents on the surface of the nail. It looks almost exactly as if someone took a tiny little pin and just pricked the surface over and over. This pitting is actually an external sign of an internal autoimmune reaction. It frequently points to skin conditions like psoriasis, where underlying inflammation directly disrupts the smooth formation of keratin cells right there in the matrix. If you're seeing these pits alongside, say, flaky patches on your skin, it's a biological connection that is definitely worth bringing up to your dermatologist. Section 3, when help is truly needed. Okay, I'm going to slow down here for just a second because we are officially moving out of the yellow zone and into the red light. This is arguably the single most critical piece of information in this entire explainer, and it requires your immediate attention. Here's the deal. If you see a new, changing, dark stripe, we're talking a brown or black vertical line running from the cuticle straight up to the tip, and you cannot explicitly link it to, say, slamming your finger in a car door, do not wait. You need to see a doctor immediately. While this can sometimes just be a totally harmless cluster of pigment cells, it can also be a clear sign of subungual melanoma. That's a very serious form of skin cancer occurring right inside the nail matrix. If that stripe is actively widening, or if you notice the dark pigment starting to bleed into the actual skin of your cuticle, man, that is an absolute red alert. Catching it early is biologically critical here. Please, don't delay on that one. Section 4, protection and daily care. Okay, let's take a collective deep breath and de-escalate the tension a bit. Most nail issues are absolutely not life-threatening. Let's shift our focus to some common nuisances and the actionable daily routines that actually respect the biology of your hands and feet. For example, if you look down at your feet and see thick, yellowish, and maybe kind of crumbly toenails that seem to be lifting away from the bed, don't panic. You're likely just looking at dermatophytes. It's a highly, highly common microscopic fungus. These fungi absolutely thrive in the dark, damp, incredibly warm environments that our shoes create all day long. It's also super common as we get older. Organically speaking, it's totally harmless, though a podiatrist can easily sort it out for you if it's causing you any physical discomfort. So, how do we actively defend our nails on a daily basis? Listen, there's a massive industry out there trying to sell you crazy expensive nail pills. But unless you have a diagnosed severe deficiency from a doctor, they literally do nothing for your keratin structure. Zero. The real signs of nail care is all about hydration and lipid barriers, period. Your nails split and crack because water, aggressive hand soaps, and harsh acetone completely strip away the natural oils that hold those keratin layers together. So your actionable biological defense is actually super simple. Wear gloves when you clean, avoid harsh acetone nail polish removers, and vigorously rub a thick, rich lipid cream right into your cuticles. Oh, and one more thing. Always clip your nails straight across and not too short. Cutting deep down into the corners practically guarantees you're going to alter the natural growth path and end up with a brutally painful ingrown nail. And hey, if you're a bit older, I want to reassure you really quickly regarding the speed of your nail growth. At a cellular level, your metabolism and your cellular turnover naturally decrease as you age. Your internal keratin factory simply slows down its overall output. What does that mean for you? Well, it just means that if you get a totally harmless white spot or a little bit of damage, it is going to stay visible on your finger much, much longer than it did when you were 20. It absolutely doesn't mean your body is failing to heal. It's simply the biological reality of a slower timeline. Nothing to worry about. I absolutely love this brilliantly stated metaphor from our source material for this explainer. Nails don't diagnose, they only whisper. It hits the nail right on the head. Your nails are constantly offering you free, daily health hints straight from your circulatory and physiological systems. They are literal windows into your body's plumbing. But remember, they never ever replace a proper medical blood test or a real conversation with your physician. They just softly tell you when it might be time to listen a little closer to your overall health. I want to leave you with a thought today.
Most people walk through their entire lives completely ignoring this silent biological diary, but not you, not anymore. So tell me, how old are you? And did you just spot something completely unexpected on your own nails while we were talking? A ridge, a weird shape, maybe a spot you never even noticed before? And honestly, more importantly, did this explainer give you some peace of mind by showing you the actual step-by-step science behind it? Keep paying close attention to those little whispers, and I'll see you in the next one.